Greetings and welcome to our summer bonus episodes of the Food Professor Podcast presented by Cattle.
Once again, Sylvan and I are taking a couple of the summer months off to recharge and get ready for our next season. So as the official podcast for the SIAL Food Innovation Show this year in Toronto and spending some time at the Ontario Craft Wineries Conference in Niagara Falls, Sylvan and I had the opportunity to interview some of the leading thought leaders, brands, and makers in the food industry. As the saying goes, these are their stories.
Stay tuned for Season 6 of the Food Professor Podcast, debuting August 28th. We'll be back on the mic together live with our particular brand of truth, insight, interviews, custom research from our friends at Cattle, and yes, a whole lot of fun.
Jonathan, welcome to the Food Professor Podcast. How are you doing this afternoon?
Oh, it's been pretty busy. It's a great show. Having a really fantastic time.
We are here live in the podcast studio at SIAL, and it's great to meet you. I was drawn to your booth, both because I love barbecue and also because there was a lot of activity happening. It looked busy, man. What was going on?
Oh, it's really, really interesting to find out a small company like mine is getting a lot of looks and people enjoying our product, and the feedback that we're actually getting since we're communicating with a lot of people, and we're competing with a lot of people, and it's...
well, you're doing both, I guess.
Oh, yeah,
right.
Communicating and
competing, and yeah.
Yeah, so it's quite a rush, and love the feeling, and...
Fantastic. Now, is this, you wouldn't be... it wouldn't be your first trade show, but do you do a lot of trade shows? Do you what's the best way?
We do a lot of trade shows, like markets, farmers markets, things in those natures. Mm-hmm. But this is one of the biggest shows that I ever been to, and it's like, wow.
Now you're here we got our opera guy singing as he makes pasta there. If the listeners are wondering what that opera is, we've been hearing it the whole time. It's quite nice. Who are you? Tell me about yourself. How did you? I think you said you were a chef by training, and
I'm a chef by trade. During COVID, everybody lost their jobs, so basically we decided that we're going to make barbecue sauce. I've been making barbecue sauce, my Smoky Maple, for quite a long time. So when COVID hit, nobody was doing a lot, and they were doing a lot of barbecuing. So I got a lot of requests for my Smoky Maple. So I did on my deck 60 bottles, and they were all sold before they were even made. I ended up burning my table with the bottles. And since that, we haven't looked back. So then we rented a kitchen, class 5. So then we're just doing strictly New Brunswick. Then we basically transitioned into Newfoundland, Nova Scotia. So then we basically got caught. So now we have everything under control. So now we get everything co-packed in the proper facilities with all our recipes, and things are doing great.
Fantastic. Now, where'd you grow up? I think you said Newfoundland?
St. Anthony, Newfoundland.
Very nice. Very nice. And now you're in New Brunswick, right?
Fredericton, New Brunswick.
We had with a name like LeBlanc, of course, I've been in New Brunswick 1 or 100 times. My dad was from Moncton. So we spent most of the time around Shediac, actually.
Yes.
In New Brunswick. But I love the name, Rishabuktu Road.
Rishabuktu Road is basically just outside of Fredericton.
Yeah.
But I'm one of those people that are paying Fredericton taxes and living outside the city.
Fantastic. Well, so, you've got a lot of product for, I wouldn't say a startup, but you're not that long in the tooth. I mean, this is a couple of years, but you got a lot of product. Talk about how you developed the product. I mean, you started with your let's call it your base, right? That sauce, you describe it. I'm going to show the picture for the folks listening. They can't see it, but you got a lot of product. I've tried a lot of it. It's pretty amazing.
So my very first product was my Smoky Maple.
Mm-hmm.
We talked about that one. Then I knew I couldn't have a company that basically was just going to strive on one product, right? So then I moved on to a Cabano, because in my younger years, I used to do a lot of traveling. So I've been into Cuba quite a bit. Mm-hmm. And then they don't have a lot of spices, but they have a lot of flavor with their food. I spent a lot of time with the locals, so I created a Cabano barbecue sauce, which is
Tell us
garlic,
about that.
cumin, orange juice with a hint of oregano. It's just wow.
Yeah, that was my reaction to it. I've never tasted anything quite like it. It was really good
and
very fresh.
So then after that, we came up with another sauce. We came up with the Carolina honey because people wanted something with a little bit more heat. So I call it Carolina honey is because my fiance's name is Carolina.
Oh, with a K, that's
with a
right.
K, exactly,
I thought you were just trying to get around some trademark or something.
No.
Oh, very nice.
So we came up with that one, and then we decided it's not hot enough. People want something hotter for a wing or something. So then I came up with the Reaper. So Carolina Reaper actually is my fiance's name is Carolina, but the reason we called it Carolina Reaper is because we have ghost peppers and we have Reapers. So there's 2 peppers in that one. And then I came
up what do you like that on? Like when you
wings.
Wings. That's
it's strictly like a wing sauce. Phenomenal. Another good thing, it's good on a drizzle on pizza. It's basically good on anything.
Right.
They bring something to a bit of spice.
Yeah.
So what you can do with the Reaper, you can mix it with a little bit of pad thai to get the sweetness, the honey, and then you're going to get a nice smoke flavor, and then you're going to get an actually nice bit of heat.
Fantastic. Now, you've got some actually hot sauces, and you got barbecue sauces, and you got spices. Tell me about the spices, because some of them super interesting. You got your standard SPG. That's got to be your flagship, right?
No, SPG. Reason I come up with SPGO.
Oh,
salt, pepper, garlic, and onion. So anytime that I do like a beef brisket, pulled pork, I always use onion powder. So then I says, well, man, why don't I just put it in a bottle? And it's actually a very good seller.
Wow, fantastic! What you got Kansas City spices? I mean, where do you get the, what I'm trying to get at is where do you get these ideas? You're a chef by nature, so you know food by nature, right?
Exactly. So I can basically probably sit down here and you give me a couple ingredients and I can create you a sauce.
Right.
Like, I have that, and it's an ability that I have, and then people's like, wow, how do you mix these flavors together?
Never thought of putting those, like your Cubana, never thought about putting those, the cumin and the orange, but you thought of it.
Exactly.
Right.
So, same as the maple donair, my spice. Everybody does donair.
Maple donair.
So I add a little twist to it.
Yeah.
I add a little bit of the maritime twist because I'm from the Maritimes, and I added maple sugar to my maple to the donair spice. Yeah. Actually, it's phenomenal.
Fantastic.
It's very good on burgers.
Yeah.
You just sprinkle it on the burger. You don't have nothing to do. Just sprinkle it, grill it, serve it. Done.
Fantastic. Now, so you're at this show. It can be a bit overwhelming. There's a lot to do. I mean, just talking to people. You came as behalf of. You've got a section in the Atlantic section, right?
So I'm in an Atlantic Pavilion.
And I saw that. I was talking to the minister, the ag minister, and the deputy minister. These guys, they're generally behind you guys, right?
Exactly.
Do you feel that way? Do you feel the government's behind you? Or?
The government's behind, but the thing is, it's very difficult for them too. It's basically just to find out where the funds are going to go. There's a lot of issues just besides us type thing. There is extremely they're trying, but it's very difficult. So in other words, like I said, all my sauces that I have to get co-packed, I can't get it done in New Brunswick. The facilities aren't there. The qualifications aren't there. So I get it done in Nova Scotia. Okay. Which it's sad, but you have to because the funding's not there. So
if you let me ask you a funny question, funny peculiar maybe. If I waved a magic wand and made you the Minister of Agriculture and Food in New Brunswick, what are the first couple of things you would do? Is it, I think you're hinting at it a bit, investment in some infrastructure so entrepreneurs like you can get started? Would that be helpful, do you think?
Yes, that would be very helpful. I'd probably invest into a little bit of infrastructure, a little bit more Class 5 kitchens in the area of Fredericton.
Now, for the listeners who may not know, talk about what a Class 5 kitchen is. That's what is required to make the sauce.
So to make the sauce, first when you're doing, say, something in New Brunswick, in your own province, you just need a Class 5 kitchen. Okay. So it's just a standard kitchen with, you have to have 2 sinks. Basically, you have to have your sanitizers, things in that nature.
The people have to probably take a food safety course. Because I know in Ontario during COVID, they passed, they loosened it up a little bit so you could make stuff in your kitchen to a point, and your kitchen could be inspected.
Exactly.
But it was try to if you're just making bottles for farmers markets, and you want to start, they enable that in Ontario. Is that
Exactly. So if you're in a farmer's market, 1 day a week, you can basically do it in your own kitchen.
okay?
But if you're distributing, like I'm doing stuff in like craft stores, you have to have it done in a Class 5 kitchen.
Okay.
Okay. And then that falls under the government of New Brunswick. Now, when you start shipping stuff over different provinces, you have to have CFIA.
Right.
Okay.
Federal inspection.
Exactly.
Yeah.
CFIA, which is federal. Then when you decide you get a little bit bigger, you want to go all across Canada, and you want to go into the U.S., you got to get your FDA.
Right.
Right? And then you're going to have to get in, if you want to get into Sobeys and superstores, you got to work on your HACCP. So
How do you, I know lots of the folks, of course, in the grocers and Sobeys particularly has a reputation for being very open to new products and the listing process is pretty good. I mean, what's been your experience with the grocers and your conversations?
Sobeys, we're working into getting into Sobeys right now. We have some leads. The market is saturated with spices. That's what I get. Saturated with spices, hot sauce, and stuff like that. So now they have a local program. So once you get into the local program, they'll keep you there, and if it keeps moving, they'll keep it. But the problem is your shelf space. Your shelf space is not very cheap. So say, for instance, if you're doing shelf space probably all across Canada, you're probably looking at $50,000 to $100,000.
Yeah, big
money,
bite.
right? And a small business really can't afford that. So that's the reason they created the local program.
Yeah.
And
you get paid, as I understand, I talked to some other folks at Loblaws. They got a program. We interviewed the CEO on the pod, and he said, we were talking about a lot of innovation comes from the small entrepreneurs, but it's hard to deal with you. You're so big. And so he started up a small, like we pay you faster kind of thing, So
with the local program, I was in a local program, and I had a broker, right? And then, of course, you get a broker, you lose a broker, you don't get along with them type thing. So I let my broker go. So when I let my broker go, I was let go at Superstore. Just recently at this show, I get an email from Loblaws that they want to introduce me back to their local program. So I'm really happy. Yeah, I'm really happy about that. And they told me it's going to be a little bit different. So how they're going to be doing it, I'm going to end up doing my own distributing. And I'm going to be doing store to store. So I'll drop everything off at the store. And once you drop it off, you get paid. So they're going to
That's great, right?
It's going to be like apparently, I'm not too sure about the whole situation. It's all new to me. But apparently, when you go there, before they sell it, they pay you. Because you're not going through a broker. So we'll see how it goes.
That's fantastic.
I'll give it a run.
Does your digital customer engagement strategy need a serious upgrade? Enter Cattle, Canada's consumer insights powerhouse with the largest, most active panel of everyday shoppers. They're not your typical sponsor. They're the voice of the consumer, always in the know on the hottest trends and shaping what's next. So why Cattle? They go beyond consumer insights. They're trailblazing the future of ratings and reviews and leading the charge in user-generated content. With unmatched syndicated receipt data and the ability to gather reviews across any category, Cattle partners with giants like Walmart and Canadian Tire to deliver results that count. Visit askcattle.com now for an exclusive The Food Professor podcast listener discount on your first review or research campaign today. That's askcattle.com.
I'm a big fan of, I don't know if you know him, Matt Pittman and Meat Church.
Yes.
Right? So I went to Matt's store, which, first of all, I was like, oh my God, it's way smaller. I thought it was like a Walmart, but it's really just a small store. And he was having a block party, and it was like an hour and a half wait to meet Matt. I put him in my presentations as an example of how small and independent retailers can survive and thrive. Like he punches so far above his weight. He's got his own sauces and spices. Everything he sells in the store is kind of what everybody else sells. But what I'm getting at is, how do you think about activating and all the other stuff that has to be done, after you make a great barbecue sauce and a great seasoning? We were talking offline about Instagram and all that stuff. How do you think about that? And, once you got that stuff on the shelf, of getting people going in there, asking for it, activating, and maybe you might give me some for my barbecue show, like influencers,
Exactly.
Tell me about that. Tell me about how you think about that.
So basically, how I designed all my products, like I try to get it to stand out from the rest. So in other words, you send your wife to the store and says, can I get a Smoky Maple? As soon as she looks at the shelf, it's purple. Bam. Smokin Jon's purple. Gone. So I did a color coordination for all my sauces. So basically it stands out. So everybody walks by my booth, they're like, wow, it stands out. Your labels are phenomenal. So
right there you get shelf presence.
Exactly.
Right. And are you doing influencer marketing, or like what's your marketing plan look like?
So for marketing, we basically hired a marketing company for a year. Wasn't doing what we wanted. So basically we started doing like small reels. I started doing a little bit of cooking myself.
Yeah.
And to get people to follow us. So now we're at like I think 29,000 followers, which is good. We're really happy with it.
What's your output though? It's a bit of a beast, right? You got to start like to keep that community going. You got to feed the beast, so to speak, a little bit.
It's basically you have to feed the beast. You basically have to keep people interested into your product. When people is not interested and you're basically not talking about it, it has to be in people's face all the time.
Showing people how to use it.
Exactly, people how to use it. If you don't do that, you basically, it's a lot of work. You have to pound it, and I'm not gonna lie to you. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of blood, tears, and sweat. It's not easy, especially when you're competing with the big companies.
Yep.
Basically, like I'm a fly to them. But the thing is, like I said,
but they're so the pros and cons, right? They're kind of they're slow moving and they're big. Generally, not all of them, but
yeah, exactly.
And everybody's looking for something different, right?
Exactly. Everyone's looking for something different. Everybody's looking for clean ingredients. You pick up any of my products I have, you can pronounce them.
Yeah, let me see this Cubana here. I'm gonna reach over and see what's on your deck here. We'll do this live. Tomato puree, great. Salt, sugar, vinegar, onion powder, sugars, oregano. I'm summarizing here. I see no canola. I see no oils, no fillers. That's what I see.
Exactly.
That jumps out at me. I always look for, sometimes when I buy this stuff in the States, high fructose corn syrup. And it's really good stuff, but then I see that, and it's not good for you.
It's not good. So that's the first ingredient you're going to see in like a big barbecue sauce. It's cheap, right?
Yeah.
But the thing is, we did a more like a gourmet style barbecue sauce.
And in the seasonings, we watch out for. We always got to have
MSG.
A bit of
There's no MSG.
MSG.
There's no fillers. I don't use any anti-caking agent, which is like a silicone.
Now you got smoked vegetable oil, but you were telling me that's just kind of like a decaked.
That is basically, I put the smoked vegetable oil in, so basically all the spices blend together as they're tumbling.
Okay. So you just add that in.
Add it in.
Very fresh. Yeah, no MSG. You got some salt? How much salt do you put in?
All my products are low sodium. So with the FDD, they're coming up with a new thing. It's called front of label packaging. So everybody's going to have to do that.
Yeah. And if you're identified as high sodium, you get that big badge of high sodium.
Exactly.
Front, right?
You know what I mean? So it looks really bad.
Yeah.
But the thing is, I go to the grocery store and I see like the bacon on the shelf already has it, and everybody has it in their cart. So I don't really see if it's going to work. That's basically something the government decided to do.
Yeah. Some of the spices I like, and I'm just looking, like this one's got onion powder first. Some of them have got like sugar up front, a little sweeter, paprika. Do you have anything in your line like that?
So, this one here, I have a first ingredient you're going to see is like
sugars, brown sugar.
Brown sugar, right?
Yeah.
There's no refined. It's basically, and I use a Demerara sugar.
Oh,
which is a high molasses.
It's got a nice dark finish to it. That is like a nice mahogany on the ribs.
Exactly.
Right?
And like I said,
sugar and spice with a hint of heat. Beautiful. Listen, man, this is great stuff. Congratulations on how far you come so far, and wish you much continued success. And
it's just got to keep going, and then every door you knock on, you're going to get 10 people say no, but you're going to get one to say yes.
Yeah.
That's all I got to say to any like small entrepreneur. It's a lot of work, but it makes you feel really good at night when you go home that you know that you're basically putting out a great product.
Right. Fantastic. Well, listen, John, thanks so much for being on the Food Professor Podcast. A real treat to meet you. And safe travels back home, and wish you continued luck.
Yeah.
All right.
Same to you.
Thank you.
Thanks for tuning into our summer bonus interview series. Michael and I will be back live on the microphone together in late August. I'm Dr. Simesh Alwar, the Food Professor. Take care.
And I'm Michael LeBlanc. Safe summer travels, everyone. See you in the fall.